class. So I want everyone to get settled in, give each other some space. I want you to come on to your mat, crisscross applesauce. Good morning. So today we are going to talk about self-reflection. But before we do that, we are going to do our time in breath. And the breath that we're going to do today is ocean breath. So I want everyone to get comfortable, get settled in. Sit in easy pose, tall spine. And we're going to do 2 normal breaths. We're going to breathe in, inhale, exhale. Inhale again, exhale. So I like everybody's ahs. So that's exactly what we're going to do with ocean breath, but we're going to raise our arms. We're going to inhale. Exhale. Sort of like our ha's will sound like the waves of the ocean. Inhale. Exhale. Woo. And then we're going to do one more. Inhale. Exhale. Awesome. So how's everyone doing today? That's great. So like I said when you entered the class, we're going to talk about self-reflection. Self-reflection is how we observe ourselves. So can anyone tell me, what does self-reflection mean to you? Okay, so, you raised your hand. I got to you. Okay, so self-reflection means being aware of your thoughts? Yes, awesome. And what about you? Yeah, so being self-reflection also keeps us in tune with how we feel, what's going on in our bodies. That's awesome. And so what about you? Okay, self-reflection is also about how other people see us. That's a good one. That's a good one. All of you are valid. So self-reflection is about how we feel, being in touch with our bodies, whether we're feeling tired or sleepy or tense or relaxed. But it's also about our thoughts, being mindful about how we feel. We're feeling sad or we're feeling happy. Just kind of noticing things that's going on in our bodies with our thoughts. And also self-reflection we'll respond in the way other people see us as well. Can make us think about our self-reflection. So those are all really, really, really good examples of self-reflection. Yoga helps us be mindful about self-reflection. And throughout the yoga poses that we do, we are paying attention to the way we feel. We're paying attention to what's going on in our thought patterns, and we're also paying attention to the responses that we have from the outside world. And so that is what yoga helps us do. Puts us in a mindful state as we move through the poses and as we breathe, inhaling and exhaling throughout each pose. Even as we relax, we are noticing how our body is responding. We're noticing and how these poses make us feel. Those are very, very good observations. So today we're going to begin our practice with a warm-up. So our warm-up for today is going to be yoga pose repetition. So with yoga pose repetition, it's almost sort of like playing telephone, but instead of just talking and saying words, we're using our bodies. So for example, I'm going to participate with all, since there's only 3 of you in the class today, I'm going to start out with a pose. and my pose is going to be mountain pose, and then you're going to do another pose as well as mountain pose, and then you're going to do another pose and the pose that she chose and mountain, and so forth. So are you ready? Okay, so I'm going to start in mountain pose. Feet are going to be hip distance apart, and I'm going to put my hands to the side. I'm used to doing mountain pose with my palm facing outward. So now it's your turn. So we're going to do blow palm, palm, okay. So we're going to do blown palm from one side and the next. And then we're going to do mountain pose. Okay, so what is your pose? Okay, so you want to do chair pose? Okay, so we're going to make sure our feet are hip distance apart. And then we're going to scoot down into chair pose. Awesome. And then we're going to move back up. We're going to do blown palm. I always have difficulty with that pose, saying that pose. Moving from side to side. And then we're going to come down to mountain. And then last but least, what is the pose you're going to do? Okay, great. You're going to do ragdoll. So we're going to move forward, fold, up. You can sway from side to side. I'm swaying from side to side. And then we're going to come up and do chair pose. And then we're going to do blow palm. And then mountain. Awesome. So the next thing we're going to do is go into our sequence practice. But I want to kind of stop you before we do that. And how did that make you feel compared to how you felt when you walked into the class? How just doing the simple exercises, those simple poses, how did they make you feel? Okay, you felt you were a little tense, now you feel a little relaxed? Okay, so that's exactly what I want you to kind of keep in mind. As we go through these poses, I want you to keep in mind how you feel, how the poses make you feel. And also be mindful of what's going on in your thoughts. If you felt a little depressed or down when you came in, are you feeling happy? Are you feeling, a lot less mental clutter? So those are the things that we want to pay attention to. So I'm going to straighten out my mat. And we are going to meet at the top of our mats. Coming down into table position. And we're going to go into dragon pose, low lunge. We're going to be mindful of the inhale and exhaling as we go through each step of the pose. We're going to tuck in our toes on our left foot. And don't forget, be mindful of the breath. We're going to step our right foot in between our hands. And exhale. Inhale as we move up. And then exhale as we place our hands on our hips. And just breathe. And then we are going to cycle our hands back down on our mats, and we're going to do now yoga hops. So yoga hops is kind of fun. I like it. We're going to do a switch on each side, but before we do that, we're going to inhale our left leg up from bending, and then we're going to exhale and switch and hop. Woo! And we're going to do at least 2 more of these. Lots of fun. And the last. Okay. And I want you, before you just kind of think about how you feel as we're in our pose, as we're in this pose. Feel more energized? You should feel more energized after this one. So now we're going to swoop our leg back into plank. And then come down onto our bellies into cobra. Take a few breaths here and notice how you feel. This is like a back bending pose. So you should feel it in your shoulders and your lower back. And then we're going to move up into downward facing dog. Your gaze to your navel. Feel free to pedal out your dog here if you feel that that's what you need to do. And so we're going to come into warrior two. So you are going to step up your right leg. And then you're going to pivot your back foot and rise up. And then spread your arms out into a T. And don't forget to maintain the breath. Inhaling and exhaling. And then we're going to bring that right foot forward into star pose. So just doing a check-in, how do you feel? Because we did hops and then these poses were pretty intense. You're sweating. If you felt tense before, you should feel a little bit loose now. I do. You do? That's great. What about mental? Think about your thoughts. Have your thoughts changed or anything in your mind? Okay. Feel empowered. That's good. So now we're going to go into a folding star. We're going to bring our hands, both hands down. Gaze to the navel. And then just be here for a few breaths. And then we have our 2 feet outside of our hands. We're going to come down and squat into frog pose. Elbows should be in your thighs. Be mindful of the breath here. Breathing slowly. And then release. Fall on your bottoms. And then you could face the top of your mat. You can take just a few breaths here. Just relax. And then sweep both of your feet behind you, coming down onto your belly. We're going to prepare for shark pose. This pose is a bit tricky. We're going to lift our legs up, and then we're going to place our arms back and interlace our fingers. And we're going to use our shoulders and the core to make us steady. Are you feeling it now? Yes, remember to breathe and then release. You can place your face down on your mat. Whew. Take a few breaths here. And then we're going to come into rock pose. Put your two big toes together and squat back and extend your arms. Take a few breaths here. And then come up to tabletop and back into seat. How do you feel? How did that make you feel? I'm sweating. Okay. You feel loose? You feel, yeah, sometimes it takes a little bit of exercise just to help us even free the mind of thoughts. I know when I do yoga, I tend to come out of a class feeling a lot more like I have clarity in the mind. So I'm glad all this is resonating with you. So as we head towards our game, for our game we're going to do front-facing chair. So I want you can partner with her, and then I will partner with you. And the reason why we do games is this is a good one to keep, as you said before, that self-reflection is also how it's part of us communicating with other people as well. And so we do these games in partner poses so that we can interact with each other. So let me move my mat up to you. And then I want you to inhale your arms up, exhale, falling down into chair, and then we're going to grab onto each other. Your gaze is facing forward towards your partner, and just breathing. Sometimes when you look at someone face to face, you start laughing, and that's good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And then release. Awesome job, you guys. Awesome job. Okay. Let me straighten out my mat. And so for now, we're going to move into our relaxation pose. So you can take a comfortable seat. Take a comfortable seat and just take a breather here before we get into that. And so for our guided relaxation, we are going to get comfortable, and I want you to think about clearing up your mind. As we move into this space, I want you to release any thoughts, any wiggles that you may have. You could either sit up, like I'm sitting up, or you could lay down, whatever is comfortable for you. As we go into our guiding star relaxation. Close your eyes, breathe and rest. Let go of all your thoughts. Just feel your breath. When you're silent and still, I'll know you're ready to listen. Imagine that you're in a beautiful meadow. The tall grass brushes against your legs and feet. Wildflowers sway in the gentle breeze. Insects hum. Listen to their sound. Lie back to watch the silvery moon and starlets sparkle and dance across the sky. You notice there's one star that seems to stand out. The star is definitely twinkling at you. You think about nothing but the star. It grows brighter as you focus on it. You also grow brighter. Then the star begins to move across the sky. You follow it at first with just your eyes. Then it shines a light beam away from you. This guiding star is yours. Gently begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Take any final stretches that feel good to you on your back or on your side. When you're ready, come back to a comfortable seated position at the top of your mat. So how did that make you feel? Awesome. So we've seen self-reflection and movement, and even when we are still, we can still self-reflect. How many of you, what did you feel as you were laying down? You felt calm and you felt peaceful, right? That's a part of self-reflection, and that's how we use yoga to help us self-reflect through breath, through movement, and awareness. So before we leave class today, I want to explain to you your homework. You're going to do a 3-2-1 summary all about me to be shared with an adult family member. So the 3-2-1 summary, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write 3 things you've noticed that you do very well at school or at home. You're going to do 2 things you've noticed that you want to improve at school or at home. And then you're going to write about 1 thing that you've learned about yourself in yoga class. And so you're going to have your parent or guardian sign this, and then you're going to bring it back to class tomorrow. Maybe we can even share. That would be awesome. So thank you so much for class today. Just make sure all of you put your mats in the corner, and I will see you again tomorrow.